Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of the Arc of Thoughts podcast. In today's episode, we're carrying on with Khal's stories. We've still got Khalid sat here with us. So if you've not watched the first episode already, then please go back and watch the first part of the episode. And then you can continue and we can carry on the conversation here. So the next thing that we want to talk about is we've talked about charity abroad and helping people who are unfortunately less fortunate than us. But at the same time, I think sometimes we sort of have this understanding of charities only for abroad. And some people have this mentality of only sending their money to, let's say, for example, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or sending it to abroad countries. Okay. And whilst this is a good thing, at the end of the day, we are living in Britain. And number one, there's poverty here.
We're very fortunate.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Number one, there's poverty here, but there's also problems here as well. And we also need to invest within our own communities as well. So I know one of the other things that you do is like the litter picking initiative.
Yes. But before we go into that one,
Right,
I
go on.
forgot to mention something else I do.
Go on.
You probably got my message about football kits
Yeah.
to Gambia.
Okay.
So a cousin of mine, they do Gambia. And alhamdulillah, like what we do, we kind of share out the work.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll donate towards his, he'll donate towards mine or whatever. There's one thing that we do. And now Gambia is I'll be honest with you, it's probably one of the poorest countries that, when I see the videos and the pictures, probably one of the poorest countries I've ever come across.
Okay.
And it's a Muslim country as well, yeah?
Mhm.
So what we've done over the past few years, we send clothes and stuff. Because I'm involved with the football, and every year with my football team, I give last year's football kit to Gambia.
Okay.
And over the years, it's just like I've been sending more and more kits. And the best thing is they send me a message. They send me a WhatsApp.
Okay.
The actual people that receive it,
Yeah.
they make a lot of dua. They send me a WhatsApp, a
Okay.
video or a message, and they take a picture of that. We've sent, thank you for the kits and everything. So for the last couple of years, we've been doing it. Now this year, I thought, right, Jalil, let me promote it quite big. Let me see where I can get. Now I'll be honest with you, alhamdulillah. You know what? We've had a lot of kits. I'm gonna mention one particular football club.
Okay.
It's not even an Asian club.
Okay.
If I mention the name, you'll probably think automatically because of how we were thinking of that area. Millil Football Club.
I thought you were going to say that.
They've donated between 24 to 28 kits, full
Okay.
kits.
Oh wow! Not
From
just...
So that's
Wow.
including short socks,
Mm.
tops, jackets, tracksuit bottoms, from the age, I think it's from under 8 all the way to like 16 years old.
Mhm.
And then one of my mates, his daughter plays for Man United.
Okay.
So he sent Man United a message. So every time he takes his daughter, I was meant to go and pick up some kit. I might just go tonight after I finish from here. I might just go and pick it up. He's been collecting like Man United kit, like
Mhm.
full on Man United gear, like not even fake. It's
Yeah.
actually original gear.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, we've raised a lot of bags. I think the only thing is though, and I do need help with this, every bag that we send cost us £18.
Okay.
Now, yes, you've given the football kits or whatever,
Mhm.
but I never asked for money.
Mhm.
Now, my cousin never asked for money for
Mhm.
these bags, and he always does it out of his own pocket.
Mhm.
But you just think 18 bags and you're sending over 20 bags.
Mhm.
Sorry, £18 and you're sending over 20 bags. How much is that?
Yeah.
It's a lot of money to come out of somebody's pocket. So if somebody can help with some kind of donations with that,
Mhm.
that's also something that we do. That I do as well. So this year, alhamdulillah, we've raised a lot. At the moment, last year I was doing my garden work and I built a little outer shed. At the moment, it's just full of footy kits.
Okay.
But my missus is like, the intention wasn't for you to put all your football stuff in there. I'm like, to me there. So so at the moment all my stuff is in there, and then I did a lot of the Palestine stuff this year as well.
Yeah.
Raising money for Palestine. That is in itself, I don't want to go into that one, but put it this way, there's some people out there who basically only want the limelight themselves. I don't want to go into it too much.
Okay.
Maybe that might be for a future episode, but I'm definitely not going to name the name.
Okay.
But I kind of just thought, you know what, the best thing is I just do things myself. That way I don't need to worry. And then you notice I don't usually broadcast a lot of stuff what I do. I don't like to show off anything.
Mhm.
Because for me, how I do all of this work is, one, life's too short. Secondly, if you want to go to Jannat, yeah, you need to be the best you can to please Allah and create a pathway, one way or another. And if that means doing the right thing, you have to do the right thing. And you don't need to post and broadcast and show off your face on everywhere and say, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. Don't get me wrong, you can take pictures because people do need justification of where their money's going.
Yeah.
But you don't need to broadcast it saying that, oh yeah. That's why on Facebook, I've only ever put it up once or twice. I'll never put it up saying that I'm going here to do that. Because people just look at you in a different way, saying that, oh, he's only showing off. That's another thing, social media. People do things just to big themselves up on social media.
Yeah, I think you have to sort of filter where you know that if you were to advertise it, if you were to show it, you weren't really going to get anything. Like, for example, in your case, if you weren't going to get much donations at all and you're just having people just sort of watching for the sake of watching or looking for the sake of looking, then there's no point putting it.
That's why most of mine is all through WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why I say to people, take my number, message me, keep a lookout on my WhatsApp status and everything. Because I have it very private and stuff. And that's where most of my donations. Don't get me wrong, I get one or two on Facebook where they don't have my WhatsApp. But what I try to do is try to create the awareness that I am doing it. And if you need, because if you didn't have my number, you wouldn't have known I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So the more people get your number, I mean, and then you just promote it. And you know, there's people that was donating that I didn't even think of that person would actually donate to my cause. Not in a nasty way.
Yeah.
We just, you know when sometimes you go, oh right, okay, I've not met this person, but I didn't know that he still had my number. It's been 7 years since I last spoke to him. But he still sees my WhatsApp status and everything. And all of a sudden, he's messaging me saying, oh, can I transfer the money into your account? I was like, bro, I've not spoken to you in 7 years. Where you been hiding? So, it's just one of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, we're going to talk about Clean Street Posse.
Yeah, Clean Street Posse. So the first thing to probably mention here is the Afro wig. So I don't think many people.
What do you mean the Afro wig? I don't know what you're about.
Yeah, so I don't think many people
are familiar with this. Right? It's the Habib hat.
Was it the Habib hat? No, it's not. It was black.
It's a papaka. That's what it's called.
Oh.
I was going to get the white one.
Right.
But then I thought, do I get the white one? I'm too embarrassed to wear it. And you know what? I've had it for 3 years, yeah?
Right.
And I'm thinking, when can I wear it? When can I wear it? When can I wear it? And my daughter, she's well funny. She just, Papa, are you seriously going to go out wearing that hat? I'm like, okay, I'll take it off. So you know, one day we did actually go out and actually put it on. She was with me.
Yeah.
She goes, Papa, take it off. You're embarrassing me. I'm like, you're 4 years old, little kid. Calm down.
So what's your little nickname that you have? I know that on your little, you got the fluorescent vest, don't you? What was it at the back? I've forgotten.
General Bank Tidy.
General Bank Tidy. Who came up with that? You did.
You know what it was? A brother around the corner from us, Iklak. He had his own, so me and him started working together. So he had Major Muck. What was it? He had 3 names, right?
Right.
So I said, why don't we create a little team and we'll add in some extra names, yeah? He goes, okay, cool. So I can't remember what his was, but he had General. I can't remember. So anyway, basically, I said, right, let's do it. So the thing was, he's quite crazy because on his social media, I don't know how he did it, but he started adding in, like the litter pickers. They look like a gun, yeah. So he's there going around and he's making these little videos, but he's doing these edits where he can add in these little germs and stuff and say, look here, pow, pow, pow. What's wrong with you? How old are you? He's like, well, we want to make it fun. I said, right, chalo, you want to make it fun? Let's do it. So we started doing it. And again, I got pushed from my father.
Yeah.
And I started seeing it as well. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've got a daughter now. I want her to grow up in a nice place and take pride of where she lives.
Yeah.
So started doing it, just little areas here, there. And for me, I didn't just do Little. I'm from Little Howard, right? I live in Little Howard. But out of the many times I've done it, I probably only done Little Howard about 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Out of a possible 50. The reason being, is because I don't want people to say that, oh, he's just doing it in his own area. And how I see it, look, Islamically, right? What is it? Cleanliness is half of a faith, yeah?
Mhm.
So that includes your appearance, your look, your dress, your house, your garden, your street, your neighborhood, your town, your area. All of these things, I see it that it is all together.
Mhm.
So whether it's Little Harwood, whether it's Baswell, whether it's Wiltshire, Shasworth, it doesn't matter. It's still our town.
Yeah.
We were born and raised in this town. Let's take pride into it. But sorry, I'm going on.
No,
you were meant to ask the question. You're not even asking me a question. I'm just going on about it.
Yeah, well, that's what you need to say, isn't it? Like, it's more about the sort of work that you're doing and stuff like that. I was more interested in the humor, but obviously it did give me a chuckle. But at the same time, obviously, like, the initiative itself is really good. At the end of the day, litter has been a problem within our community, and it's really unfortunate that people don't take pride in where they live. They're happy to just throw their crisp packet or their what the worst thing for me is, Cal? If you're driving and you know that the guy in front of you, he's had to take away because bichara he's winding his window down, and the burger, the packaging that he's got, he's lobbed it out the window. That's just, it's a shame that unfortunately people can't just wait until they get to a bin and then put it inside of a bin. Why do you think that is? What makes a person litter?
I think there's a couple of factors that we've got to look at, right? I know one, and many people say this, is education. Yeah. But there is something about education where there's certain things that are just blatant obvious. Yeah. When you sat at home, if you've got a crisp packet, are you just going to throw it on the floor, or are you going to pick it up and go and put it in the bin? Right? So it's the same thing that when you're out on the street. Why are you just going to throw it on the floor? Why don't you just go and put it in the bin? Right? Go up. Can you not wait 2 minutes until you're walking past the bin? Just crunch it up and put it in your pocket and just carry on. Put it in the bin. But people just don't think. And I think, but there is other things that we need to look at. And one is educating, as in like a whole on the bins, for example. Yeah. Now, some people, it's not their fault, right? Because they've never been brought up that way. They don't know, right? Now, you look at the Asian community. So when it comes to plastics, people don't know what's classed as plastic and what can go into that bin and what can't go into that bin. Yeah. So what happens is they've made a mistake, and generally my missus done it once, right? And I rang up the council, and she goes to me, "Well, have you checked your bin?" I said, "No, I haven't." I went out, looked at my bin, I was like, "Oh, shh." I went inside, I go to my missus. You just made me get embarrassed, because I rang up the council right to kick off, saying that, why have you not come and picked up my bin? And then I looked at it, and you put this inside the bin, the polystyrene. She goes, "Well, I don't know which bin it goes in." So I just put it in there. I was like, "Well, come on, you can't recycle that, so you have to put in the red bin." But things like this. So what happens is, because they've not collected it, it's built up. Now that the red bin is basically every 2 weeks, but then your other bins is basically once a month. Yeah. So people don't know what to put in, and if it doesn't get collected once, you've had it. You've had it. So it builds up. It builds up. It builds up. There's that. Then you've also got the issue of the elderly. Some of them don't drive. Yeah. So I know we can say there's a recycling centre in Blackburn, or there's a recycling centre wherever they live, right? But you've also got to take in consideration that person might not drive. So how are they going to get there? Who do they call? A taxi driver ain't going to take somebody's rubbish. You can call a taxi, but he ain't going to take your rubbish just because you wanted to thingy, right? There's companies out there who are road companies. So they promote saying that we'll get rid of your waste. And people have been fined because what's happened is they've taken the waste, they've paid that person, and that person has just gone around the corner, found a spot and thought, right, I'll just dump it inside there. So when they found some information inside there, the person who's actually booked this person gets charged for it because it's got their details in and not the company that they booked. So you've got to take that into consideration. Yeah. Then it's also like, I think the council, especially, and I think the litter got worse over this pandemic period. Because the council decided to close the recycling centres.
Oh yeah.
And then it was appointment basis and people couldn't wait.
Mhm.
So all of these things that you've got to take into consideration, that these are the reasons why people were doing it. So when we started doing our litter picking, my initial thought was, right, let's create a bit of a team. Let's go to different areas. Let's create a little area group, community group. So in Little Howard, we had one. So me, my dad, and there was a couple of the councillors on there, and a few members from Little Howard. So they were all joining in. So every Sunday we were like, Saturday, Sunday, right, Chalo, let's go down. Yeah. And let's just do a group collective pick. And it might be street after street after street. Yeah. My aim was, right, so I did different areas. So I went to Shadsworth.
Okay.
When I did Shadsworth, it was basically Whiteburg Road, the back alley. Honestly, oh, I don't even know how to explain it, but that alley was absolutely disgusting. And somebody sent me, and one of my mates, Abdul Fulla, childhood friend, he rings me and goes, "Cal, you know you're doing this litter picking. I want to get on board. Can you come down to like give us a hand and like, Chalo, let's do our area?" I said, "Okay, Chalo." I said, "Get a few family members or a few people from your area. I'll come over and I'll help you out." Anyway, we went down. We hit one alley. I'm not gonna lie to you, that alley. It took us 2 weekends, 2 Sundays. The first time I think we had about between 35 to 50 people cleaning that alley. Wow. Yeah, and they weren't just from that area. The best thing was when I promoted it, and I had people from Witten coming down. I had people from Baswell, Wally Range, Little Howard, every different area, and we wanted to create a little group. And everyone was like, "Okay, chalo, let's just muck in as a thingy community. Let's do it." And there was the youngest. It was a reverted sister, Muslim. She come down, and I'm not gonna lie to you. She had her baby. You know, like you get that vest. Yeah. She had the baby in there, and she's litter picking.
Wow.
And the place where she did it was probably the worst of the worst in that back alley. And then we had a elderly gentleman and his wife. They were in their 70s. So what we were trying to do, our aim was to knock on the doors of that street and say to them, "Look, we're going to come down on this day. Can you give us a hand cleaning this back alley? It's your back alley. It's not ours. But we want you to help out." The reason being, if you help out now, you will take more pride and more, like, if somebody comes and does something wrong, you will report it. Where if I come and clean it up for you, Saki, we'll just put it outside and they're going to come and clean it up for us. And I'm going to go into that. So we knocked on so many neighbours' doors on that street, and I'll be honest with you, percentage-wise, I would say probably about 11-12% come out of 100% to come and help us. I was annoyed. At the same time, I spoke to the councillors, and I said to the councillors, "Please, we will go and do the work. All I need you to do is raise the awareness with these residents. Come and knock on the doors for us. When you go there as an official capacity, they might feel obliged to help you, right? They might think that, Chalo, he's taking more pride into my community. Come on, let's go and help out." Not interested. We did over 400 bags in that one back alley. And the amount of fly tip, if I was to put all of that into bags, I would probably say another 1,000 bags in one back alley. Then what we did, we switched the street. Once we done that one back alley, we went to opposite. There we ran into a bit of problems with one of the shopkeepers, Muslim. The way he treated us, I just thought, you know what, bro, you need to learn some respect. I'll be honest with you. But what he did, we had a big group, we've gone out, we're cleaning up his back alley. He's come out, he's got out of his car, and he's bringing these bags. And he sees us cleaning up. He just comes and dumps them. Everybody's looking at this guy. And I was just like, you can't be, are you just joking with us? Are you just winding us up? So he's come. I looked at him and I thought, nobody else is speaking up. Well, I need to speak up, yeah. And this guy's quite a big guy, yeah. He's quite an intimidating guy. And I'm thinking, I need to speak up. So I go, "Brother, what are you doing?" He goes, "For this." I said, "What do you pay for, brother?" He goes, "I pay for this." I said, "Pay for what?" "It's my rubbish." I said, "Yeah, it's your rubbish, but where are you putting it?" He goes, "Well, I pay for this." I said, "Brother, I don't see no bin there. What are you paying for? What services are you paying for? Because what you're doing, you're putting the rubbish there. And from you leaving that rubbish there, it's attracting other people to put their rubbish there. All right. Now, luckily, we had another group coming down because they joined on, these young lads, lovely lads. They're on Facebook, DJ Corey, and they call themselves Blackman Cleaners.
Okay.
They're from Shadsworth. He come down with the big speakers, the portable ones, and the big microphone.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, he comes on. So he's playing some music, and next thing, when he sees this guy, this young lad, gotta give him, he's probably about 13, he gets on the mic, he goes, Oi, you, I've got you on camera, look. And he goes, pick up your rubbish and go take it to her. The guy just looked at him, and you could see the anger in his face, this kid's got me on camera, yeah? So then he's come back and he goes, well, what do you want me to do with this rubbish? I said, well, go and put it with our lot. This is the first time I will do it, but you shouldn't be doing this. Go and put it with it. Anyway, he's gone and done it, comes back. Brother, can you give me a couple of bags, the red bags? Because the council are very specific in Blackburn that you have to use the red bags, yeah? So I said, okay, I give him about 5 or 6 bags. Anyway, he's gone back into his shop. He's bought some sweets out for the kids, especially these kids. The one who's trying to sweet talk them, saying that please don't send it in. He's gone inside, he's bought this out. And then what's happened is we've carried on. Next thing, the guy's just swiped the whole red roll and he's going to use it for his own shop. And I was just like, whoa. So anyway, he's come back out, and as he's getting into his car, he goes to me, what are you doing this litter picking for? So I told him, like I've just explained the reasons why. I said, look, I want to make this town. I said, I'm not even from here. Yeah, but the thing is, people are just going to come and dump it again. So then I go to him, all right, okay. I said, doesn't matter. They come and dump it, I'll come and clean it again. He goes, but why would you do that? That's just stupid. I said, you ever hear the story about the Prophet ﷺ when the woman that he used to walk past? Do you know which one I'm on about? Where every time he walked past, she used to throw rubbish and abuse him and all that stuff. This is where my conversation ended with him. He turns and goes, bro, who told you this story? I said, what do you mean who told you this story? I said, everybody knows about this story. Brother, this story is absolutely fabricated. It's not even hadith. I don't even know where you're coming out with this. It's absolutely nonsense. Go back to your scholars and question them, because this is not hadith. I just looked at him and I was just like, why are you being so aggressive? Why are you being like, I'm trying to do some good work. Why are you being so nasty to me and the group? We're cleaning up your street. It's not even like we don't even live on this street. We're cleaning up your street and you're being nasty to it. Soon as he said that, I just looked at him and I said, okay, brother, thank you very much. I said, I've got to carry on doing my work. And I just walked away. And then, to be honest, I did actually report it to the council. Well, not the council itself. I spoke to the councillor. Whether he put in a report, I don't know. But I did my duty. And then what I've noticed over time is that every time we were doing certain areas, people started taking more and more advantage because they knew that we were coming over to clean up. Instead of coming out and wanting to educate and saying, okay, brother, can you just explain to me where does this go or where does that go? They were just thinking, Chalo, do you know what? I've got excess rubbish here. I'll just put it in a bag. Let me just dump it outside. They'll come and clean it. So in a way, the last couple of months I've been like a bit lazy. Well, not lazy. I've just been a bit disheartened by the work that's been going on.
Naturally you're going to be, isn't it? When somebody does that and takes advantage of you, then automatically it takes you away from the work that you want to do. I think this is a big problem within our society, that at the end of the day, those people who are doing something good, even if you can't help or give a helping hand yourself, you should at least try to encourage them or not make the problem worse.
Yes.
At the very least, if you can't do something, then don't make the problem worse. And this is a thing that we all need to take on board. Not everybody has the ability to do, or not everybody has the time to do, or not everybody feels like they want to do. Okay, let's be honest here. There are a lot of people that you might have gone and knocked on the door and they don't want to do it. They don't want to leave the house and stuff. Which, fair enough at the end of the day. Well, not fair enough, but you know what I mean, right? But
to be honest, I find it quite therapeutic, like when you see the before and after, you think, wow, I've done that. I've cleaned that up. You get this inside you feel the satisfaction that, oh yeah, you know what, I've cleaned that. Look how nice it looks now. Let's just hope they keep it that way. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. And I do, sounds harsh this, but I do find that Asian areas have been hit a lot more harder than the non-Asian areas.
Yeah.
And I think that comes down to many factors. One, we are And we do have to take this into consideration. We are over thinking like packed with the housing compared to other places. Because you look at Little Old, for example, you look at how many houses are just on Warrington Street, Beesworth Street, and Providence Street. Just that in itself, how many houses are there?
Yeah, I mean, this all comes down to like socioeconomic issues, and unfortunately, within our own community and stuff, we don't have the money, and we are. I think we've talked about this recently, myself and Kasim, where we've talked about our own demographic as Muslims, British Asians, not just Asian Muslims, but all Muslims in general that are living within this country, unfortunately, are from like the lower end in terms of their socioeconomic demographics. So we're basically from the
You're
poor.
using some big words now. I don't know what they mean.
Essentially, like we're from more the working class areas, we are from more working class families, and unfortunately, our families don't have enough money, so we can't, move out of these areas because we're in a constant cycle of, we're not getting the opportunities, or we're not taking the opportunities, and therefore we're not working our way up within systems or earning higher salaries and stuff.
That's something that I've mentioned in the past, where we as Asians have to work 10 times as hard in a workplace than somebody else.
And to be honest, like, I see that as a challenge for us. Whilst we should be trying to get equality, no doubt about it, right? But we've got to be realistic as well, that change is not going to happen within 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. So in that meantime, like, for example, Kal, you've got a kid and you got another one coming as well.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, I've got one as well. Okay. The way that we see it is,
I know you made me a granddad at 22, you made me a granddad.
But like, our goal is that inshallah for our kids' generations, then inshallah the problem of racism and like unconscious biases and stuff will inshallah start to be resolved or be resolved. But we know that it's not going to happen within our years of working, right? So that's why we've got to double up and put more effort in.
I think there's going to be other things that's going to hit them, not this racism in the long term. But that's a different subject in it. That's a subject in itself, isn't it?
Well, let's leave it at that for now, Kal. It's been a pleasure having you here today. I hope you've enjoyed it.
I have. I am going to mention one thing. I want to come back on the show. To talk about something else. This is another line of work that I do. Which is gaming and gambling. Something that I look into quite with a passion. Within the Asian community, within the BAME community. It's basically, I think there's a massive need and there's a stigma attached to gambling, mental health, and gaming. Now, when I mean gaming, people might just think, what do you mean by gaming? Is it what, just playing? No. What we mean by gaming is the loot boxes. So, like, for example, FIFA points. Fortnite, I've never played Fortnite, but what's on Fortnite? Is it something similar to loot boxes? You need to unlock something and you need to pay currency.
No.
You need to pay money for digital currency or something like that. So there's that, and then there's Forex trading and all of these things. But that I do want to come back on and talk about because it is something that's massive. And I've got a friend of mine who's actually really good. And the thing was, I'm sure he won't mind me saying it because he's very open about it. He's Hafiz. Unfortunately, some of the things that happened to him, he ended up going down this route himself. He was working in a madrasa at the time, it was like a Darul type madrasa school. One of the other Maulanas found out that he was gambling. Instead of this Maulana going out to say, let's open the doors and let's teach him and let's help him, this Maulana went to go and broadcast it in the whole of the madrasa. So he basically exposed him in front of the other Maulanas, the other teachers, students, everybody knew about it. Then within the community, it got out. Now what happened was, instead of him getting the help that he needed, he got worse. And I'm going to leave it as that because when he comes in, he can explain the whole story to you.
I think they're really, really important point. I'm glad you mentioned that, Kal, because I forgot. Sorry, man. But at the end of the day, the reason for myself and Kasim, who unfortunately isn't here today, Kal's taking his place today. But the whole reason that Kasim and I decided to start this podcast was to have these difficult conversations, and they're not easy conversations, Carl. We know that, yeah. They are difficult conversations, but at the end of the day, these are taboo subjects. But they are subjects which are affecting people within our communities, and not just like individuals. You know, you've mentioned your friend, obviously, but it's not just him, and we know it's not just him.
Yes.
We know that
we need
it
more
exists.
people. Yeah, we need more people to come out in the open.
Yeah,
not being judged.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you have an addiction.
I think this is a thing that, at the end of the day, look, these things are wrong. We're not saying that they're not wrong, and we're not trying to, mollycoddle somebody, or we're not trying to make it out that it's not something that's bad. What we're saying is we want to find solutions, Cal. That's what we're trying to talk about, isn't it? That how can we help those people who unfortunately have problems within our society and make them or help them come away from their addictions and make them into better people, essentially is what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll leave that for another time, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for coming. Jazakallah khair for listening. We hope that you've enjoyed the episode, and especially if you've enjoyed this episode with Kal, then please leave a comment down below telling us how much you love him. And tell me what you think about his nickname, General Bang Tidy. Love to hear your thoughts, inshallah.
I think I'll have to come on with my Kabiba next time. I'll have to come on with my Papaka. General Bang Tidy might have to make an appearance.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.